white shirts on the pitch, running fast through the night. Every heart beating loud under floodlit sky bright. So to London stand strong, in the stands they belong. Voices echo like thunder, to the club they sing along. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. King's fire in his eyes, glory's what he seeks. With every goal he flies, rising to new peaks. From the lake to far and wide, with the pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride, with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. The pride of the fight. On this journey we'll ride, with our passion burning bright. Up in Spurs we arise, eyes on the prize. Victory in sight with all our might. With all our might. With all our might.
Yes, guys, it is Christmas time. Yes, it is time to be merry. Yes, it is a time to be happy. Yes, it is time to spend time with your loved ones. But do you know what? We could not do Christmas Eve without the THFC Till I Die Christmas show special with myself, aka Doma, aka Domatron, with the man that we don't know what he looks like. We don't even know what he does. All we know, he's a mystery of the Spurs community. And down below, well, I don't think he knows what culture he is. I don't think he knows if he's Australian or he's English, but all we know is that he's one of the respected people of the community. It is Mr. Brad Matthews. So firstly, Brad, before we get to you, sir, we're going to get to our mystery man, because some say he could be Santa Claus, but also some say he could be Daniel Levy. But all we know, he's called Stig Jr. Stig, how are you this evening, joining me on this Christmas Eve special? And have you been naughty or good this year?
Well, I'd rather you not call me Levy, but I don't want to get any more hate when I don't want to be targeted anymore when already Levy is getting targeted, so I'll pass on that.
Yeah, but we don't know what you look like, so this is what we have to go with.
Well, it's true, you never know. I could just be putting on this entire show, just hiding in the shadows, trying to see what everybody's thinking.
Exactly.
We don't know.
You know, all we know that Brad, this is true though. Some do say he has the biggest Tottenham collection of programs in the world. Also, some say he's got the biggest porn collection in the world. But you know, we just don't know these things. We just don't know. We need to do a reveal one day with you, Stig Jr. We do have to do a reveal.
Maybe when we get to 5K. Maybe when we get to 5K. So that's a goal what we have to reach.
We'll see. We'll see, because I know you might. There's rumors you could be going to the seas.
Yeah,
as a pirate. Apparently,
exactly. Yeah.
There you go. But down below, of course, this man needs no introduction the world over. He is as big as any superstar in the Western Hemisphere. He has played at places like the MGM Grand. He's played at the Olympic Stadium. He's played in the big white elephant in the middle of Stratford. He knows what I mean by calling it that. He is the one and only. And we are going to make him a little slightly intro. We've got to give him an intro. And this is the intro we're going to give him. Please, everyone, do get over to this. There you go. That did that. Then it stopped.
Very catchy song. I wonder who did that. Very catchy.
I wonder who did that. Brad, how are you, sir, this evening?
I'm good, thanks. I've just got over a cough and a cold in time for Christmas. So I'm doing really well. I'm on 2 weeks holiday now. So I've finished work. I've finished recording my Christmas song, as you just heard a piece of. So I'm not a lot of stress apart from Tottenham, obviously. That's a very catchy intro tune you've got. Who is that? I've never heard the band.
That's actually Colm.
Oh, okay.
That's actually Colm. Colm did that. He actually sung and did that himself, and then AI'd it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But he can sing. He actually is a singer.
All right, I was going to say it's very similar to what I do, except for they can play their instruments and can sing. So
Yeah. So maybe you and Brad should get together and do your own Chaz and Dave song, Rabbit.
Who knows?
or the Sideboard song, which is probably one of my favourite Chaz and Dave songs. To be fair, Brad. Listen, thank you for joining me. We've got a few topics to go through. We are going to try to keep this totally non-political. We will promise you that. I see Brad squinting already.
Peace. That's all I can say. Love and peace.
Love and peace.
That's as political I'm going to get tonight.
Yeah, that is what we're going to do. We are going to keep this. We are going to keep this non-political. We are going to keep this only on Tottenham. Big up to Luke Chapman. He says Northampton Town have imported Kevin Nolan, the former Newcastle player. Isn't he, Brad? Former Newcastle?
Bolton, wasn't he? Bolton?
Yeah, Bolton. Did he play for Newcastle back in the day?
Did he go to West Ham as well? I know he always seemed to do well against
West
us.
Ham he did, yeah. I think he finished his career at West Ham.
Yeah, and he always had great games against us, particularly when he was at Bolton. Yeah.
He was a pain in the arse against us back in the day. He really was, Brad. As the club's new manager and 2.5-year contract can make progress up the table, I am big up Luke. I'm very pleased for you. And he says, Merry Christmas and a happy New Year 2025. Yes. Yeah, go on, Brad.
I guess just Merry Christmas to you, Luke.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. We have chilly music. It said if Ben Goffrey is our backup centre-back target, then it shows that Munn and Levy aren't serious about football inside of football. We are going to talk about defensive, and I do have a player who we are linked with, so it's not Ben Goffrey.
I've got one as well, but my source, it came from tier 2, not tier 1 sources, so...
Yeah, well, ours always come from tier 0. I mean, that's just the top opinion. Our source is the best in the land. Levy has never backed any manager at football club. All he cares about NFL. We're going to get into that as well. I would love to go to more, but Brad goes to all the home games, so that more question will be for him. And we are going to ask the question: will Brad ever go to a concert at White Hart Lane? That is the question. Or will it depend who it is? And then big up to Carl Simpson. Carl, get yourself on here if you want to come on. Give me the link. Let me know. Send you a link. Come and join us. Come in and have a conversation.
Can Carl tell me where the filthy animals comment comes from? Because I've heard it so many times. I know it comes from something, but I don't know where.
He's calling me because some of our talk in the private group chat can get a little bit sideways. It's a bit young for Boris's ears, so that's why we have to keep it out of his earshot, because he's only young. He's only young.
I remember the quote from Home Alone, mate. I'm not that young.
Okay, fair enough.
Is it from Home Alone?
It was just on like one of the screens and stuff like that, saying in like one of the clips, saying when the pizza guy came, keep the change, you filthy animal.
Oh,
that's
okay.
it. Was from Home Alone too. Lost in New York.
I've only seen the first one. And all I spent was worried about the big spider was going to turn up at some stage. So,
Well, listen, big up, Carl. Thank you for coming in. And thanks for everyone. Do please hit the like button. Please do hit the subscription button if you can as well. Really will mean a lot. We are over 2K, but we don't want to stop there. We want to get the 3K too. And if you can, send in the super chat. Pick up your memberships. Now, this is important, guys. You've only got to January the 31st to pick up your memberships. And I'll tell you why. Because we have a signed 1991 FA Cup final shirt signed by the one player who didn't finish the match. He was only on the pitch for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and that is Mr. Paul Gascoigne. We have a signed. We've got a little quote with it as well that shows that it's legit. It's not something we've bought off Del Boy and Rodney Trotter off the back of the 3-wheeler van. It is properly legit, but only channel members can get in. So if you're not a channel member by the January the 31st, you won't be in. We're doing it on New Year's Day. We've got a massive wheel with every member's name on it. We're doing live on air, and wherever the wheel lands on, you win that prize. So the only way you can get in is become a member. And if you do, you're in of a chance. Well, you're going to get loads of new members content from January the 1st anyway. We're going to do all the pre-match day stuff for you members, and it's only going out to members only. But you get into this 2K giveaway, so please do pick it up. It really would. It really will be such a lovely late this Christmas present, and signed by the man who got us to the final. Yeah, December 31st, not January 31st. Thank you, Mr. Brady. See, Mr. Brady's in there in the chat, just as my backup man, and just says, right, Dermatron's made a cock up. I'm like the Murray Walker of this channel, you know. I come up with some bang ding. He was a great commentator in the day.
Happy birthday to Mr. Brady from a few days ago.
Yeah. Yeah, he's apparently 21 again, he told me.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. To let you into a truth, he's 125, but he doesn't like a lot of people knowing that. But anyway, I'm about to get another horse's head through the post before the end of the year. Anyway, afternoon, guys. Big up Wembley 1. We all want to get to Wembley. Big up afternoon, guys, and everyone. One thing they must do on the 1st of January is recall Ashley Phillips. Pay the low knee club if necessary. Exactly. Big up to Philip Brady as well. Happy birthday. Everyone do wish Philip happy birthday from a few days ago, guys. He says, I think even Levy must realise he has to back Ange this January. I actually think he will this time. And we've got December 31st deadline, not 31st deadline. Dermatron, get it right. Thank you, Mr. Bradford, the Godfather, the man that's on top of Rushmore, Tottenham Mountain, with him and Wilton McDonald and Peter M. And of course, Donald Trump is right next to Philip Brady. And thanks, Brad, for the Facebook messages.
No problems, Philip. I hope you had a good birthday.
Now, guys, we are going to crack on with this show. We are. I don't know what I'm going to do, but we are. Okay. Look, I want you to talk. Look, I want to start this on Liverpool game first, right? You were there, Brad. I'll get you in a minute, Boris. It's just because Brad was there, and I want to get what it was like inside the stadium. Me and Colin were doing the watch along, and we said it along about 10 minutes into the game. The high line's too high. It really was. What was the atmosphere like in the stadium, Brad, during the game and
it was
after the game? Was it more of booze at Ange, or was it more of, we're going to back you because we can see you're trying. We could see you trying to play.
I think at half, I think it certainly wasn't as many boos as the Ipswich game got. I felt that the crowd were a bit up and down, but I think they could see it, as I could, that we were trying. We really were trying. I don't think you can fault the effort that the guys put in that day. And certainly when Forster made that really bad error, his first kick went straight to Salah, and Salah put it wide. And then he got ironical cheers the next time he got it to a defender. But then after that, they really started encouraging him when he's, every time he made a good pass, they were encouraging. So I think that, of course, people are annoyed at conceding goals. But once we got the second and third, I think they did get behind them. And to be honest, I think the fifth goal went in and a lot of people started leaving. But that really left the true, well, I won't say true supporters, that's probably not fair, but it just left the crowd there that wanted to give them encouragement. And I just felt there were 2 points that, look, don't get me wrong, we defended incredibly poorly that day, very, very poorly. Liverpool are a very, very good side, and with a completely fresh team. The bench they had was amazing, the people that came on off the bench. We're playing our third game in how many games with the same players. So we're always on it's always a game too far. But I felt that at 2-1, and I think this is where we need to have a leader on the pitch to tweak things and calm things down. At 2-1, it was, in my eyes, get to half time. Get to half time at 2-1, and then we got something to build on. But the board went up for 2 minutes injury time. I thought, right, great, only 2 minutes. but we conceded that third goal, and I thought that was a killer, an absolute killer. And of course, we didn't start the second half very well. They went 5-1 up, but then when we got the goal back, we kept trying, and we got to 5-3.
Yeah.
And at that particular point, I was thinking, well, I'm not expecting a miracle, but wouldn't it be great to get it to 5-4?
Yeah.
So at least if they win the game, at least their fans are going to be suffering a bit in those lot, thinking, "Oh my God, we could lose this." So let's give them a bit of panic. Unfortunately, at 5-3, they got 6, and again that was a killer goal. But even then, Solanke had that shot that was really Johnson had that shot that was really well saved by the keeper. That would have made it 6-4, and again you've got a game on. But we never.
I said during the watch along, Brad. I and Boris as well. I said, "Oh, with the comeback's on at 5-3." I just felt the comeback was on.
It was.
You got that feeling. You can't fault them, guys, can you? Boris, I mean, I'll get back to you mid-break because I want to ask about the balloons, Brad, and about the Levy out thing and the popping of balloons. Because I'm interested in that because I heard there was a lot. So I'll get back to that in a minute. Boris, look, what did you think of the game? And are you with Brad? Are you happy with the performance? It was just our third game in 7 days with the same players. Mind you, we have scored 9, 10, 11, 12 goals in 3 games. It's just defensively we're lacking a little bit, but we do have players coming back. We've got Ben Davies back from the Wolves game. We do have players coming back. So where were you with the Liverpool game? Were you happy, sad, angry? Ange out, Ange in?
I'm fine with backing Ange still. He still has my backing towards him. From what it seems like, is the board are still backing him personally, internally as well. From what I've heard and stuff like that from my sources and stuff like that, that they're saying the board is still backing Ange and stuff like that. And they don't see a reason to get rid of him yet. So I think everybody's saying oh, Levy will sack him if he doesn't get top 4. I think that's a load of rubbish now because I know we're only 5 points off Champions League still or something like that for 5th place. Because let's be honest, we're probably going to end up counting 5th place as a Champions League spot this season with coefficient ratings and all that. That's still not too much, and we have got Forest and Wolves coming up. So I do feel that if we do manage to beat Forest, because we have got Bentancur back now, so we don't have to see Basuma's poor performances all the time now on display, but for some reason he's good at certain games but terrible at others. But I'd say with that we've got Bentancur back now as well, and it seems like Udogie is fit as well for the Forest game as well, so that'll be another big bonus. But with defence though, we also saw in the post-match interviews Gravenberch even said they were focusing Radu instead of the 18-year-old central midfielder who is not a natural centre-back in the slightest. I think that just shows we see Radu more of a weak link than they do Archie Gray. That is saying something. What is disappointing to hear, because I do have faith in Radu that it will become good, but it's just if they're seeing a 22, 23-year-old as not as a threat, but seeing him as not as a threat, but an 18-year-old as a threat, I feel that. But with the Ange stuff, I'm still Anging for the time being. I'll still give him until the end of the season unless we start dropping down games where we should clearly be winning and stuff like that. And if it's a clear errors and stuff like that. But I do feel as well he did make some mistakes that game as well, not bringing on Kulu earlier and stuff like that. Because Kulu, from what we've seen, let's be honest here, I think us three and everybody will say Kulu deserves to be the next captain of the Spurs side.
I agree with that.
I actually disagree with that for the simple reason that I don't want to put any more responsibility on him. I think he's a really top player. And I think if you give him the captaincy, that just might take that little edge away from him. I felt the same actually about Joe Root getting the England captaincy in the cricket because he's such a good batsman, but just making captain. I just think that some players, you give him that much. That's only reason. I'm sure he'd make a great captain, but I just think, no, leave him as he is. He's by far our best player this season.
Yes,
and did his best on Sunday. But I just think giving him the captaincy, that might just put that little bit more extra pressure on him. I think, and I would not like to do that to a player as good as he is. But that's the only reason I wouldn't give him the captaincy.
Yeah. Look, I mean, what's your thoughts on the Liverpool game as a whole? walking around, and also Brad with the protest outside and with the popping of balloons and with the stewards what they were doing. Do you feel? Look, we this thing with Levy's been going on now for 20 something years, so I think we have a right to we have a right to protest how we want to about our club. Everyone has the right to protest. But do you feel that everyone as a fan base, it doesn't matter which side you're on, once you're inside that stadium, you want to be 100% behind the team, the players, the manager. Do what you want outside the stadium, but once you get in, leave everything at the door, get in and support the team. And do you feel when there is protest within the stadium, the Levy song, which is really catchy, by the way, I couldn't get out of my head for the first couple of days, by the way. But do you feel that does affect the players on the pitch when they hear that? Do you feel it does creep onto the pitch? You've been watching football for a long time, Brad. So
I would hazard a guess that if professional footballers should be so focused on what they have to do in the game that they probably wouldn't hear that or take any notice of that. I mean, obviously they hear the crowd encouraging them, "Come on, you Spurs," or whatever it might be. But I don't think they'd think, "Oh, that's an anti-Levy song. Oh dear," I don't think they'd think that.
Would it affect the players like Johnson and the younger players more? Not the more
maybe. I can't speak for them, to be honest. But I wouldn't thought so. The only thing I would say is that I do. And look, the people at the protest and singing the songs, they've got every right to do that, and I fully support them in doing that. And if they're successful, I personally, from my own point of view, don't think that the protests are going to make much difference apart from maybe putting pressure on Levy to do something. I don't think he's going to be, we'll talk about the situation with the club a bit later, but I don't think he's going to be leaving the club anytime soon. I don't think he's going to be selling up the club anytime soon. And the thing about selling the club is that there's such a lot to sell, the property, all that sort of stuff, that you're only going to get someone that's going to invest in the club because they know they can make money from the cash cow that is the ground and the stuff associated with it. The chances of that person or that group being massive Spurs fans is not very high. So at the moment, and I'm not saying I'm leaving or leaving out, but at the moment, I don't think the protest will make much difference unless it does pressure him and he gets uncomfortable and think, okay, I'll just do that. And as far as the singing the songs are, my own personal point of view, I feel a little bit uncomfortable singing anti-Levi songs when we're playing really well or when we want to support the team. So when we're beating Southampton 4 or 5-0 and they're singing that, I'm thinking, no, I don't feel comfortable with that. I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable with that. Singing it against Man United when we're 3-0 against Man United, I don't feel comfortable. But that's not to say that they're quite within their rights to sing it, and fair play if they do. Me personally, I would rather support the team. And I don't, I mean, people that don't drink at the ground or whatever, great. I respect you for doing that. Well played. But personally, that's part of my match day. I like to let the crowds go. I meet a friend, I have a drink, and I'm not going to, bite my nose to spite my face or whatever they call it.
No. You're not going to be a hypocrite.
I don't think not drinking beer there is going to make any difference.
No, I don't think so.
But I do agree with trying to put pressure on. And certainly getting the message out there that and we don't know how much the supporter base is happy or unhappy. I mean, Twitter's a shambles at the moment, so it's not a really good way of And
hello to everyone watching us on X, by the way.
Yeah. Sorry, X. Yeah. To be fair, everyone's going, Elon Musk is a billionaire, he should buy us. Yeah, then we'd have the X Stadium. Can you imagine?
Yeah. We might have the DHL Stadium at the moment.
Oh God! Someone made the comment. Oh no, we're gonna be the butt of so many jokes. DHL can't deliver, just like Spurs can't deliver.
I just want to put it out there to you, Boris, on the Levy out stuff and the Levy protest. Look, you've only been a fan since, as you said, since the Champions League final or that season sort of thing. Me and Brad we've seen 3 different owners at the club during our lifetime. I saw the end of the Richards family. Then he went to Ivan Scholar. Then he went to Alan Dipwit Sugar. and then it's gone to Levy and Enoch. And out of all the owners we've had, I think one of the praises you could level at Daniel Levy's door is making us financially stable for the first time in our history, making us with a fantastic stadium. They'll give me White Hart Lane any day of the week, but the stadium's fantastic. But one of the biggest things you can hold against him is backing managers, Boris. So on that point, where do you think Daniel Levy needs to improve as an owner or as a chairman, or is that too late for him, that we do need somebody new to come in and buy the club and take the club on? Do you feel Daniel Levy's taking it as far as he can take it as a club?
As you say, as you two are seeing, like, what, 4 owners, like 4 either businesses or owners. The thing is, we've never been like a Chelsea, Man City, or an Arsenal. We've never been a club run by billionaires, have we? Let's be honest here. Like, I'd probably say the closest would be Joe Lewis, but even then, Joe Lewis mainly let Enoch and all them have control of it, and he just wanted to he just put up the capital up front just so he could purchase it. But even then, I think back then he wasn't even a billionaire when he first bought it. I think it's only ever since and all that he's bought it ever since he became from a millionaire to a billionaire. But there is chance that he could improve, but that would mean him like pumping 200, 300 million in each season and allowing the managers to get what they want. So not trying to haggle over extremely over, let's say, the Eze deal and stuff like that. Because I personally say, so let me just say a hypothetical here. So let's say we did get Eze. What happens if he flops? Do they go start screaming to Levy that they bought the wrong signing and that he's flopped and that he's not performed well? How does that make sense? They've wanted him. They've wanted him. Let's say hypothetically he got him and he didn't perform well, but at that point it does. But then they can't put the blame on Levy because he got the signing what everybody was asking for.
Yeah, but there was times, Boris, like under Steve Hitchen, that we bought Tanguy for a club record fee at the time. Turned out to be a massive flop, but that was never put at the door of Steve Hitchen. And I can go back, and Brad can remember this, going back to Ivan Scholar, where we were buying everyone, weren't we, Brad? Remember that 87 side? Like, we had Hoddle, Waddle, Clive Allen, Paul Stewart. No, we didn't have Paul Stewart.
We've always. I mean, well, I'm old enough to remember. Well, actually, I was only young, but I was only about 1 year old actually. But Jimmy Greaves breaking the transfer record. Yeah. Martin Peters, I do remember breaking the transfer record. I think Paul Gascoigne was first £2 million player. So we've done it in the past. We used to buy players and break records. And I think my criticism, and I've never wavered from this at all, is that I don't think Levy takes enough risks in the transfer market. He's always very, very careful and measured and that. I mean, I read something the other day that he was even almost, had to be sort of pushed to get Solanke. And Solanke, whether you think he's worth £65 million or not, is the sort of player we need for Ange's system. And I think he'll do well, and he's starting to score goals now, and he holds the play up and that sort of thing. And I think it's the players that we've missed out on more than anything because we won't pay that extra bit of money. And I always bring up the Trossard deal. Now, I'm not saying that we should have bought Trossard, but Brighton put a £25 million price tag on him. We offered 12. That's just it's just nonsensical. I don't get it, and I think that's the problem. And this is the other issue is someone saying, "Oh, we should go for the little guy who plays for England, Gomez, Angel Gomez," because and it's a decent little player. Don't get me wrong, but we should go for him because his contract's up and he'll be available for nothing. And this is the problem with Tottenham as well. We're always looking for that bargain, that cheap player. And we're never going to be winners until we change that attitude. Obviously, we need to do that in line with having a better scouting network to actually make sure the players because that's the problem we have. Your Man Cities and Chelseas with all their billions of pounds and dollars or whatever, they can afford to buy a player, spend a lot of money on a player that will be a flop because they'll just go out and get another one. But we can't. We have to, if we spend our money
we have to spend it wisely.
We have to be really sure of what we do.
Yeah.
So in that respect, I think with Levy, and the other thing I think, and I've got to say this because this is I find really annoying. I think we're not a football club anymore. I think we've lost our football club identity. I think that the football club should be at the top of the pyramid.
Yeah,
but we're not. We don't seem to
We're
be, and it's just that everything seems to be going in all the other stuff. If you live in London, you'll know that a lot of underground stations have got a big poster advertising, come to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Is it to come to the Tottenham Hotspur watch the football? No, it's to go on the Grand Prix track, do the Skywalk, do this, do that. And I think we've lost sight of this. And I think that I've got no problems with getting all the income in. I really don't. Get as much income as you possibly could, but make sure that the football team, the football club is the pinnacle, is the top of the pyramid. Yeah. And at the moment, it doesn't seem to be that. And that's what I think, and certainly annoys me, and I'm sure it annoys a lot of other people.
Yeah,
we've got to get out of this mindset. And the other thing is, it's all very well going on about changing the logo and, we're going to do this, do that. People laugh because we're not winning stuff. When we got a successful team, then you can go out onto the rooftop.
If we were winners, it wouldn't matter so much.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, look. I can remember being a kid and watching Spurs and going to White Hart Lane and it being a football club. I mean what Keith Burkinshaw said over 40 years ago. There used to be a football club over there.
Yeah,
How true is that word now? I mean, Boris,
exactly.
you've been a Spurs fan not long. You're all you've seen is failure, which is failure. We haven't been successful, so we've seen failure. Does Daniel Levy? He does deserve the crap he gets. He does deserve the heat he gets for the failure that is what we are. Do you agree with Brad? I do agree with Brad. We're not a football club anymore. We're an entertainment society as an organization. Do you feel that it's the way the game's going? Or do you feel Levy's ahead of his time? Or do you feel that if you look at other clubs like Liverpool and Manchester United and Chelsea and even Newcastle and Aston Villa, they're more focused on football, where we're focused on Beyonce coming to the stadium and let's get the next Grand Prix track, the next go-kart track going, or come and go on the Skywalk, instead of thinking, let's just concentrate on the football side of it? Or do you feel that's the way football's going anyway and we're ahead of the curve on it?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above, really. Everybody said ever since Levy came in, he's probably one of the smartest business owners out there. He's one of the ones who's the smartest when it comes to this. He's always been ahead of the curve when it comes to this sort of stuff. He managed to secure a loan up to £1 billion to build a new stadium, and we're still paying off the installments without having to worry about it. He made us financially secure for, as you guys have said, for the first time in this club's lifetime. He's building up. He's expanding in all branches in sports with the stadium provided. I feel like that's bound to happen anyways. I do agree with you, though, that we have lost the identity. Instead of us being a football club, we have gone a lot more commercialised because of this. Because the way Levy sees it, I think he sees it like the way it's look at the Bernabeu now. You've seen how much that's trying to become similar to the club, the Spurs Stadium, with the underground pitches and all that, the advanced sort of shops and stuff like that, making it so the shops are the first thing you enter and stuff like that into the stadium. I feel like they're going that way with it, so I feel like Levy was ahead of the curve with all that when it comes to that stuff. But he is, as you said, he has also decided to end up, because of doing that, he's also ended up neglecting the football club as much. But I would say though, yes, he hasn't given the backing of the amount of money he's given in the right places. I'd say, we wasted, how much was it on Johnson? 45, 50 million?
You leave Johnson alone. He'd be a good player.
Yes, he might be. I'll say
no,
that.
You leave him alone. You leave Johnson. Johnson alone will be...
He's had purple patches, we'll say that. Yes, he's a purple patch player Richie.
Just because you were right on Solanke, right, doesn't mean you can slag my Johnson off. Leave Johnson alone. He will get there.
Yeah,
will
I
get
hope
there.
I hope he will, because he is a Spurs player currently, so I do hope he'll get there with time
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
You,
But I
you
feel
just
like
be
he Levy overpaid with that one, because when he
Well,
could
I
have
tell
been
you why,
plenty of
Brad. I tell you why, Bros. He overpaid in that one because we were forced into paying that money for Johnson because Nottingham Forest could have sold them. I think it was to West Ham cheaply, and they were getting near the end of the window, and they were against FFP, and they had to sell him for a certain amount to actually get past the FFP
and not get the points.
and not get the points deduction. Look, I think we all agree. I want to welcome a few more people into the chat before we get going. We are going to talk about defensive goalkeeper options. We're going to talk a bit about Richarlison, potential departure of Basuma. We're going to talk about a man. Also, at the end, we're going to talk about Ange and the transfer window. And then at the last question, I'm going to ask the lads their favourite Spurs game of 2024. So get your thinking caps on. What was the best game you saw of 2024? Right, let's welcome in. We're big up to the Normality channel with Riley Tyler. Merry Christmas to you. Big up to Brian Maguire. He says, I don't see Levy back in Ange. He'll probably go for the cheap sign. It's exactly
Well, that's
right,
the worry.
Brian.
Isn't it? That's the worry.
Yeah, it is big worry. And then he also says we need a CDM, even though Ange doesn't believe in CDM. I see it's a good way to protect the defense. Of course it is. And then he also says, which I totally back 100%, we need to get our Tottenham back. I don't recognize this club anymore. I don't recognize it anymore. I'm big up to Wayne Bonner. It's good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all well. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
Wayne. Do pick up your memberships. Do get involved in the 2K giveaway. The 31st of December is your deadline. So you got to that. Big up to Wembley one. It says a £12 million bid for Trossard by Levy is a cultural one. I see that tactic in my line of business. Big up Wembley. And then Chili Music saying Levy thinks we're in the 90s with the low transfer bids for £60 million players. Yeah, he does. He really does. Right. Let's got one question here from Chili Music. Put this to you, Brad. Just very quick answers from the pair of you, a yes or no. Do you think Yang, I hope I got his name right. I got to get it right because he's going to be playing for Spurs. Is he a replacement for Timo Werner? Yes or no, Brad?
Ultimately, he will be, but then Timo Werner, when you buy a loan player, you're probably looking at giving them back. So I think we probably still need a bit more strengthening. But again, we're doing what we always do. We're putting a lot of pressure on a 17-year-old kid who looks good in South Korea. You know, Bergwall, I think, is going to be an absolutely brilliant player given time to progress in the Premier League. But you can tell when he first started playing, when he's played in the Premier League or his games, that the Norwegian league to the Premier League is a big, big jump. And I probably think the same with this young lad here from the South Korean league. So I think ultimately he will replace Timo Werner. But, you know, let's not put too much pressure on him. You know, I think he's the Messiah is a 17-year-old, you know. Unfortunately, Wayne Rooney's and Michael Owen's only come once in a lifetime. So,
yeah. Is he a replacement for Sonny, do you think? For the Korean market?
Well, you could be really, really cynical here and say on a...
Really cynical and xenophobic with it.
Yeah, exactly. I think... I mean, there's a big market in South Korea, and you can't blame us for going for that market. South Korean films and television, and that is, and even, well, apparently music now with the K-pop is really big. So you can't blame them for going for that market. But the cynical among us would say, and I class myself as being quite cynical at times, would say that he's to keep this South Korean market going. Although, you know, if you think that, well, then you're probably doing the guy a disservice by saying that's the only reason we bought him. We might have bought him because he's actually going to be a decent player. You know,
and he was recommended by Sonny too, so
there
must be something there. If he's recommended by Sonny, then there's something there, basically.
Yeah.
Very quickly for you, Boris. Yeah and nay. Same question. Will he be a replacement for Werner? And do you think he was a good? Do you think he's been brought in also with the mindset with the Korean market as well?
I think the Korean market's probably one of the motives, but I also have to admit it's probably not the main motive. If Sonny recommends him, with how loyal of a servant Sonny has been to the club, I feel like they've taken that into huge consideration, and he sent probably countless scouts to watch the games and stuff like that. And they can clearly see clearly see something with him. So I feel like the market is a small factor in the matter, because like that'll be with any player in the market where we're dominant in. Like let's say if we had an English player like Kane and stuff like that, that was. And we needed a new Kane replacement. We got Solanke for it, so that's going to be that to keep in that market. And let's say another Argentinian centre back we find, well, that won't be to keep in the Argentinian market because of Romero, how well Romero's been for us, and it draws in viewership from South America. But yeah, of course, that's with every transfer. But I'd probably say he could replace Werner, but I feel like and to replace Sonny, nobody could ever replace Sonny for what he's done. Sonny's like one of those. Sonny's been classed as the best player ever to come out of Asia in general. I don't think anybody could ever replace that.
I don't think so. I really don't.
Let's be honest. If he wasn't at Spurs, he'd be defined as a world-class player.
Well, he nearly went to Liverpool, didn't he? But he turned them down on the Klopp. Klopp wanted him to go to Liverpool, and he said, "No, I want to stay at Spurs." Fair play to him for loyalty. But listen, let's get on with our sort of transfer sort of look ahead to the January window, and we're going to start at the back. We are going to start with the goalkeeping situation. Guys, we all know Vicario is now out to March. He'll be back for the Bournemouth game. We've got Fraser Foster, who I have to say has done very well since he's come in, to be fair to him. Okay, he surprised a lot of people. I called him the tree, because I thought anytime he did dive for the ball, it'd be next year by the time he gets down there. Very quickly, big up to Nick Fadley as well. It says, Musa Dumbele was a good CDM. Yeah, he was. But big up, Nick. Great to see you in. Please hit the like button and subscription button and enjoy the content being shown here on THFC till I die. Potential candidates include Sunderland's Anthony Patterson and Burnley's James Trafford. Now, me and Philip Brady were talking about Kelleher from Liverpool as well yesterday. You got Bazzuno, who's injured at the moment, but he's another good goalkeeper who can play with his feet, by the way. He's a very good feet player, Bazzuno. And I've seen him playing for Ireland, and he does play well at the back. I'll start with you, Brad, then I'll go to Boris. Goalkeepers, would you agree with that list? Or is there anyone else you've looked at, thought, do you know what? I mean, De Gea, I don't know if he's still available.
Florentina, that.
Yeah, I think with the goalkeeping situation, I think we have to look at it in the summer. I think we've got more pressing issues in our defence, like a left back being a good one in January. And as you say, Forster's done very, very well, despite the couple of goals against Man United, but he's done very well. I think the the Liverpool goalkeeper. He's not going to come to Tottenham and be second choice, because the only reason he's going to leave Liverpool...
I sort of disagree with you there, Brad. Don't mean to cut above you. I'd slightly disagree with that, because I've said to Philip yesterday, and I'll stick by this, that maybe having a goalkeeper pushing Vicario and him fighting for the number one spot might actually be better for Vicario than having a goalkeeper there that's quite happy to sit as a number two. Maybe somebody pushing him might bring the best out of him, might bring the best out of Kelleher too.
Well, that's great for us. I agree with you. It's actually perfect for us. But I just think for Kelleher, he probably at this stage thinks, no, I want to go to get guaranteed first team football. I do get your point, though. I do get your point. And I think from our point of view, it'd be brilliant to have two brilliant goalkeepers. But we saw what happened at Arsenal, didn't we? They bought David Raya, and we all thought, oh, yeah, look, they got two great goalkeepers, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly one of them's gone now because he couldn't get a game. So I think that, I think Forster's age is against him in for long term. So I think we need to look at a reserve goalkeeper. I don't really know a lot about the keepers that you've mentioned. I know Trafford. I think the goalkeeper at Wolves is a good one. And, they're not doing exactly well at the moment. They might be, playing in the Championship next season. But then again, is he going to come to Tottenham and be number two? But no, I do agree. We do definitely need a lot of pressing, a lot of pushing for that top spot. And Vicario is a very good keeper, but he can be better, can be a lot better. That's why I just wonder whether what Pat Jennings is doing these days, because he should be. If anyone, I mean, I have nothing against the guy Birch, who's the current goalkeeping coach, but if anyone should be a goalkeeping coach at Tottenham Hotspur, it should be Pat Jennings. So
should be. It should be. I agree with you on that because Pat Jennings, I met the man once. By God, did he have big hands?
Oh yeah, yeah.
By God, he's got the biggest hands. I met him, and because my mother was from Northern Ireland as well, she was from Armagh, so she wasn't really far from where Pat Jennings was probably brought up as a kid. And Jerry Armstrong as well lived around the same area as my mum. And when we were kids, our house actually backed onto Jerry Armstrong's house.
Oh, really?
When we were kids, we used to go to school with these kids. So during the '82 World Cup, vaguely remember a little kid, her family coming in to sit with my mum when the Northern Ireland were playing. And because my mum was from Northern Ireland, they're from Northern Ireland, there was the connection there anyway. And because of all what happened with the Troubles and everything, it sort of was, it became sort of like an enclave sort of thing that they all stuck together. So it was great. As a kid, I remember growing up, never met the man. Probably did, but I don't remember. But having that sort of being a young Spurs fan and Jerry Armstrong playing for Tottenham as well in them early years, an ex-Spurs play there, just wow. Boris, would you look goalkeeper wise? We've got a few people here. Big up to Ed M as well. Big up, Ed. He said Mads Harmison from Leicester. That's the goalkeeper I go for. Great name, by the way.
You've got to call a goalkeeper mad, haven't you?
Yeah. Would you go for him? Would you go for Trafford? Would you go for Patterson? Or would you go for Kelleher of Liverpool? And do you agree with me and Brad that maybe two first-team goalkeepers fighting each other may be the best thing for Vicario? Or do you also agree with Brad that maybe we need a younger there that's going to be brought up through the ranks and maybe use an Austin or a Whiteman as the backup goalkeeper when Foster leaves in the summer?
Honestly, personally, I'll go for somebody like Trafford because he's already had a year's worth of Premier League experience under his belt and stuff like that. And from what it looks like currently, it seems like Burnley's not going to be the one of the teams getting brought up this season, so back into the Premier League. But from what I'd probably say Trafford would be best bet really because he's already had that experience. He's getting first team football at the minute. He's playing in the Championship, what I'd probably say is more physical than the Premier League in terms of challenges and stuff like that because of stuff like VAR's not used as much, stuff like that. It's only used in the top end of the Premier League teams, the Championship teams what have been in the Premier League as of recent and stuff like that. So I'd probably say I'd give it to I'd probably give Trafford a shout because I think.
So you're going for Trafford. Trafford.
Yeah, I go for Trafford.
Okay, one goalkeeper. If you could pick one to come to Tottenham, Brad, who would it be?
Oh Jesus!
I'm going for Kelleher anyway. I know he won't come, as Wayne says.
I'd probably go for the Villa keeper, Martinez, because he always seems to have great games against us. But
I would love him at Tottenham. I would just love him at Spurs. I just love his antics. Can you imagine him and Romero in the same side?
Yeah.
I don't think because he has Arsenal in him. Remember, he was an Arsenal keeper.
He was. He was. Yeah, they got rid of him, and the only thing I will say is they must have. Loaning goalkeepers out is very difficult, but they gave Austin a 4-year contract, so they must have some thoughts about him for the future. And I saw him in a couple of the friendlies, and he looked okay. He looked quite serviceable, but yeah, so they must have something in line for him. And he's not exactly young either. He's 24 now, So yeah, that was an interesting one. That and I think they just totally ballsed up on the Europa League or the league squad by having going in with 4 goalkeepers. I don't care what you say. I don't think you need 4 goalkeepers.
No, I think
and that obviously meant that Spence missed out, which
I think that will be changed in January. I think Spence will be brought into that.
I feel Spence will be brought in, and Whiteman will probably be taken out.
I feel so. Right, just very quickly, we're going into the defensive reinforcements. Big up here from Wayne, but I just want to bring Nick's comment in as well. I think it's a really good comment, actually. Tottenham scored 16 goals in the last 5 matches, but point-wise, it's not so exciting. Yeah, that's what you get with Spurs.
Can you imagine if you phone up for the football scores and you hear Tottenham Hotspur 3, Chelsea 4, or Tottenham Hotspur 3, Liverpool 6. You hear that 3 and you think, oh, yeah.
And then you hear the 6 and the 4, you go, bollocks. box. Do you know what we're going to get on Sunday? On St. Stephen's Day, which is Boxing Day for you guys over in England. We're going to get a boring 0-0 draw rated on Nottingham Forest.
Can you imagine? Gee.
I tell you, if we got a 0-0 draw, we'd be celebrating we got a clean sheet.
We would be, yeah.
Wayne says backups needed. He says a keeper, left back, midfield, especially a CDM, a striker. I have faith in Lancashire. Don't see Velez having a future at Spurs. I'd like to see Dorrington and Phillips utilise this cover. Big up Wayne. I think that's true, Wayne. Absolutely spot on with that, and I do agree with that. Look, with Lancashire, I do have faith in. I have faith in Velez as well. I think he has a future at Spurs. So we have to see how he goes this year. But Dorrington and Phillips use the kids. The kids have worked. And look at Archie Gray and Bergville. Both 18-year-olds. They've stood up more than what most senior players have in some matches. So big up to you, Wayne, for that. He also says, but we need a quality centre back. I rate Jadrag's Rudu, the Romanian Dracula, but he's filled in well. There's always a chance Romero will make a move. Same with Porro. Yeah, it is. And this is where I think Jed Spence is going to get his chance. I'm not giving away my predicted lineup. It's out tomorrow, guys, at 1 o'clock, I think, on the channel for the Forest game. But I have kept Jed Spence in the side. So I let you decide where he goes, but I have kept him in the side. Wayne says Kelleher is too good for the bench. He won't come to us. Big up to Eltel Cockerell. Big up Eltel. Merry Christmas.
Jose, how you doing?
Good evening, Dermo, Brad, another. All in the chat. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, full of health, laughter, joy, and love. Well, big up Eltel.
And a bit of beer as well. Some beer and chocolate as well. So.
Yeah. Also, when you're better, because I know you're not well at the moment, so everyone, please send your best wishes to Eltel. He's not well at the moment. We need to get you on the show before the new year. Let me know. Brian says, I think it's time we go for Liverpool number 2. I can see him becoming the number 1. Yeah, I can. I agree. I think we need to go for somebody like Kelleher. I really do believe that. But, everyone's got their own opinion. This is why I love football. Everyone's opinion is different. And this is what makes the games go round and round, because it's all it is about opinions. And then Matthew, Merry Christmas. There he is. Who's that? Is that
It's Churchill.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. As an Irish person, that's also gone down very much.
Is that tantamount to put a picture of Oliver Cromwell on?
Yeah, no, I'd rather a picture of Michael Collins. So that would make me feel even better. But yeah, seeing a picture of him, I'm not going to go into that. Sorry, that is a can of worms I will not open, and Brad knows why. I could just feel it coming through, Brad. I can feel it coming up. Now,
our history's not that good.
Yeah, no, you just yeah, boys, come on now, let's beat them. Right. Just need to watch the film Michael Collins. You get it. You will get it. Great film, by the way.
Maybe next year I'll watch it. I think I'm concentrating on watching Elf this year, because everyone at work was saying it's a really good Christmas movie, so I feel obligated to watch it.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch all the Indiana Jones films, because I'm playing it at the moment on the Xbox, so I've got a thing for watching Indiana Jones. Now defensive reinforcements, Feyenoord's David Hancock, not Hancock. No, not that Minister of Health when that was in the British government. It's somebody completely different. Different Hancock has been identified as a prime target with a valuation around 50 million euro. I'll start with you, Boris, on this, because you said you had a person you were thinking that Tottenham would link with. Is it important that we do get a centre-back in the January transfer window? And if so, how many do we need? Do we need 1 or do we need 2?
Yeah, of course it's important. It's probably the biggest role we need to fill currently, because unfortunately it seems all our centre backs usually seeming to all get injured at once, and we're ending up having to our back line just ends up all getting injured at one point and at the same time, and it is quite annoying. So I'd probably say, yeah, it's probably the most important role we need to fill currently at this moment in time.
Yeah, and Brad, for you?
Yeah, I think
is it important, or is it? I just want to change the question a little bit for you, Brad. Is the centre back important, or is it more fullbacks important? Where would you go in the January window?
I think a left back at the moment is more important for the simple reason that we've got Davis coming back from fitness, who's done very well when he's stepped in. We've also got Phillips on loan. I mean, I don't know how good Phillips is, but from last season he got rave reviews. Got Dorrington, who gets rave reviews. So we've got a number of centre backs that at a pinch you could put into the squad. I think left back, because it's great to see Spence playing, and my word, what a game he had on Sunday.
Yeah.
That was the one bright spot from that game, and he's playing out of position, so I would love to see Spence get a run of games at right back. I think Porro is in a dip of form at the moment, but he's played most games than anyone this season. So you need to give him a bit of a rest, and you play Spence 2 or 3 games in a row and he gets that match fitness, and then suddenly you've got 2 fullbacks to choose from. But to do that, I think you need a doggy fit. Apparently he is, and we need another left back to come in. And I'm sure there are left backs around that that will be available. I don't know what our left back situation is like with the youngsters, but certainly there must be some left backs out there that we could get in. Surely.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment on X, it was out today that from the Spurs Express, that Tottenham aren't really expected to do a lot in the January transfer window. The current impression is that there isn't. Now, I'm hearing something different. I'm hearing that Tottenham are going to be very active from my sources.
That's what I was hearing from my sources as well. Like, I don't know where they got that from, because the thing I found funny is that he said that was a tier 1 source, but Ange has literally said this is probably going to be one of his most active windows he's ever had.
Yeah.
And then an injury situation, it'd be crazy if we weren't active in the transfer market in January.
I've said it a lot. Do you feel the summer transfer window had come back and bite us in the arse a little bit? Look, the outgoings were brilliant. We can't fault the outgoings. How Eric Dyer ever ended up at Bayern Munich, I still don't know.
The fact is, we got some money for us as well. I think we got in total 5 million for it as well.
My source sent me that text that Eric Dyer is going to Bayern Munich and you get money. I literally fell off my chair. I said, yeah, I actually sent back, are you having me on? He went, no, I'm legit. It's true. So there's me breaking it. And everyone's put in the chat, yeah, right, bullshit. He ain't going. And then suddenly, 2 hours later, Eric Dyer moves.
It's crazy, isn't it? Although the irony was he had a really good game at the Emirates, didn't he, for Bayern Munich?
Yeah, and the funny thing is, now he's one of Bayern's best centre-backs.
Yeah.
That's still the move to Bayern Munich. That performance at Arsenal really sealed his performance. Ryan Bonner, Hancock, we're heading for the special stream. No, we're not. Well, we may do. It is Christmas Eve.
The only other thing I just come to mind is we've also got Reguilon in the squad, haven't we? So he's a left back. Why don't
he's leaving? We're paying off his contract in January.
It just seems really
weird.
That's
what I'm hearing.
I can believe that as well, but it's like, well, I mean, maybe they have to put him in the squad to make the numbers up. I don't know, but at the moment he's a left back, which we need. So. Oh, well. Anyway, I don't think he was that bad as a left back at Tottenham. Certainly in his first couple of seasons. But oh, well, I think he's one of the only ones that's left now and need to be moved on from our team.
Yeah, he is. He's the last one, I think, to be moved on, out of that squad. Let's talk about the strike a bit. Let's talk about Richarlison. I know we should have went to midfield, but I feel let's talk a little bit about striker roles and that. And Richarlison. And what I'm hearing is, despite interest from Brazilian clubs like Fluminense, Flamengo, Corinthians, and Palmeiras, Daniel Levy doesn't want to sell Richie. He wants to keep hold of him. A, because of the injury crisis, and B, he likes him. Apparently, Daniel Levy does like Richie.
Oh, well, that's all sorted then. If Daniel Levy likes him,
that's fine. Richarlison, I love his shithousery. I love the way that, like, that Arsenal game where you got the flare and put it up in the air, and you look at him, right, and you think, I just love the way he is. I just love Richarlison. I've always said Richarlison was a big fish in a small pond at Everton. That's why it was so good for him, because it was built around him. he moved to Spurs, and I felt he's a small fish in a big pond at Tottenham. It's never really worked out for him. Injuries have always gotten in the way. His mental health, which he's been very vocal of, very brave of him to come out and talk about it as well. And there's a lot of plaudits and a lot of, congratulations should be leveled at that, because it's not easy for a player to come out and say, I'm suffering with this. I mean, if he was a player in the 80s and 90s, I think he would flourish, because he's that type of striker, in my opinion. Brad, Richarlison, is it time to cash in on him, or do you feel he deserves another season at the club?
Look, my brain tells me we have to cash in on him, because he's just made of glass. I like him. I like him as a person. I like him as a player when he's on form, when he's fit. He can fulfill two roles. As I say, as a person, he's top. He did that thing with his mental health. That takes a lot of bravery. But then you take my heart away and put my sort of thinking cap on, and it's like, well, how many injuries? I mean, he had that operation in the summer, didn't he? Oh, this is operation to get rid of all my injury problems. He still got injured, and even when he came back, he fell over and got injured. So the guy is obviously unlucky. Maybe our ground is built on an old Indian burial ground, and we're cursed. But I think, it's the same with when Lo Celso was always injured.
Time to move on.
It's time to move on, and I hate saying that, but when I say move him on, you've got to obviously have a replacement in mind. Now, I think Lancashire will eventually be, one of our strikers. But is it right to put that sort of pressure on him right now, bring in someone else? But at the moment, Solanke is playing too many games because he puts such a lot of effort into his games that we're only one match away from him getting injured, and then we're totally stuffed then, because Son, certainly not now when he's lost a little bit of his pace, can't play that central striker's role. It's not fair. So I if we can get a replacement for Richarlison, maybe he might have a role to play. Maybe he's going to score the winning goal in the League Cup final. Who knows?
You never know.
Fate has a funny way of working, but at the moment he's just too injury prone, and we had it with Sessegnon. Again, I feel sorry for him because they don't do it on purpose. They get a lot of flack on social media, but they don't do it on purpose. But if you've got to be tough and hard, and then I'm afraid that's what you got to do. So I would try and find a replacement.
Brad. Boris, for you, Richarlison, where are you with him? Do you agree with Brad, or? I mean, in my opinion, Boris, this way I'm going. I think he deserves another season, because I feel he's good to have around the camp. I feel Ange likes him. I feel he's he's a good motivator around the club as well to have. He's a good personality. He's bubbly. I think you need that, and I think that's what we need with this squad. Do you give him another year, or do you think with Brad, right, it's time to get rid of him now? And if you do get rid of him, who do you bring in?
That's a tough one, really. With it is because I agree with Brad in sense of the way he's just made out of glass, really, from what it seems like. Because as you said, he had a surgery what was supposed to fix these injury problems, and now he's somehow managing to get injured, which just somehow magically makes sense. Let's be honest. It's probably the Spurs doctors doing the surgery, if anything, with how injured he's getting, anyways. So I won't be surprised if they mess something up. But I'd probably say I would love to see him stay and flourish it with the team. But as you said as well, Demo, he's a small fish in a big pond now. So I feel it'd be great for a mid-table team. But if we want to be a challenger for top four, then maybe in the future the Premier League title, we've got to at least have strikers what can challenge the first number 9. But it seems Richie isn't able to challenge Solanke because they're two different levels of how good they are.
Who's out there though?
David.
Who's
David.
Yeah, well, we could sign him on the free in January. I mean, that is...
well, it'll probably be a small signing on fee towards Leon, but that'll probably be a couple million if I had to guess. I feel like he'd be a bet. I feel like he'd be a. Let's say I'll say it like this. We have Solanke like as a tier 1,
Mm.
and then we'll say like Richie's probably like a tier 3, tier 4 type of striker. It's just the fact is he won't be able to combat. He won't be able to fight Solanke off that tier 1 spot. Whereas I feel Jonathan David is tier 2, so he'll be able to make it a lot harder for Solanke to stay as the number 9. That'll give him some sort of challenge.
Yeah, is the problem that we've had, and this is to both of you, like whoever wants to come in first can. Is this the problem when we were so blessed with Harry Kane for years and years and years, and how good Harry Kane is coming deep, scoring goals. Him and Son got us out of so many holes in so many seasons gone by. Oh, were we so blessed? Was it the same when Jimmy Greaves left Tottenham? We were lucky because Martin Shivers then came in after Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah.
And then, but after Martin Shivers, there wasn't really anyone there until Archibald and Crooks came in the 80s side. So are we going through this lull period of finding a striker and then maybe Lancashire or Sunderland that could become the next Harry Kane? Are we just going through a cycle of that? Is that what's happening at the moment? Because there isn't really any top strikers out there at the moment that are on the same level as Harry Kane was. Or is Harry Kane just a once in a generation striker that we won't see in our lifetime again? Who wants to take that first?
I wonder whether there's any players in the Championship, because the Championship is a very physical league. I mean, that's the problem when you bring in European strikers, unless they're, absolutely way out there as being brilliant, is that the Premier League is such a difficult league to play in. It's so different from most of the leagues around the world and Europe.
Yeah.
Or Europe and the world. But the Championship, I think, is a tough league to play in. So are there any strikers there that are scoring goals for fun that may be able to fulfill a role and would like, to come from, I don't know, say QPR or whatever it might be, go and play for Tottenham, I just wonder. I don't know. Personally, I don't know. Maybe yourself or people in the chat would know any sort of players out there. But yeah, there must be some players out there that that are decent, that could do that role.
Yeah, Boris, same question to you. Were we just blessed with Harry Kane and we're just suffering now the effects of not having Harry Kane anymore as being probably a once in a generational striker? Leading club goal scorer for Tottenham, leading national goal scorer for his country, doing very well at Bayern Munich, could end up winning a couple of medals this season in Bayern Munich in Germany. Are we just in a lull, or do you think the likes of Solanke, David, and the next generation that are coming through, like Lancashire, like Velez, people like that we're on the sort of wave of getting the next Harry Kane come through our club, or we're going to have to wait longer to see that come through? Will we ever see it in our lifetime?
I think you made it perfect, really. You hit the nail on the head. I don't think we will see another Harry Kane for a long, long time, because even I think Lancashire could get to that ability, but it'd still be two completely different styles of players, because Harry Kane's got his own unique style. Lancashire seems to have his own unique style of play. Every player is different and stuff like that. Like, you see Solanke's style of play. I'd probably say Solanke's the closest in the English setup as a striker to Harry Kane. Like with his build up play, with his shots and all that sort of stuff, with his hold up of the ball. Like we saw in the England qualifiers, I don't know if Brad watched them and stuff like that, against Italy, like where Harry Kane kept the ball up against the Italian centre backs and stuff like that, kicking it over the heads of them, and kept up the hold of the ball that entire run of the pitch. That's the sort of stuff we see Solanke doing and stuff like that, where we saw him against Man United. Like, you saw him passing those two Man United defenders like Martinez and I think it was Johnny Evans. That's the sort of thing I'd probably say Solanke is the closest to Harry Kane we're probably going to see as the closest thing.
I'd agree with that.
I'd agree with that for a long time. But I'd probably say, I would say, you want to know the funniest thing is, though, the number one striker in the Championship right now is not even he's not even a striker; he's a winger for Norwich. And Norwich are even at the top of the table, they're mid-table right now. In 22 matches, he has 15 goals and 2 assists. Boris Sands Eguiski, he's a Spanish player, and he's only worth 2.2 million. And he's only 23 years of age as well.
Says a lot, really, doesn't it? Look, I want to change this. I want to change the talk a little bit, guys, onto the Super League, because a couple of weeks ago, a week or so ago, it did come back up again. The ugly head of it did raise its head under a new form. And I forget what it's called, the Unified League, I think it's called. Jesus. Now apparently it's gone to UEFA for backing. Now me and Colin reckon if the clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona show enough green stuff to UEFA, they will pass it. We all know how they like the old lolly. You know, they're a bit like Harry Enfield. Loads of money back in the day. Brad knows what I'm talking about. Brad, I go with you. Brad, not you, Brad. I leave you to last because you and me probably have more to say in this because we're, as they call us, legacy fans. Which I cannot stand. They can stick their legacy up their fucking backside. Brad, Boris, I go with you. You're a younger fan. Super League, Uniform League, whatever they want to call it. If Tottenham were to go into it again and leave the Premier League, which they're going to have to do if they want to join this league.
Yeah, but it's 64 64 clubs can only be in, 96.
Yeah, okay, but just saying, Tottenham get asked, Tottenham are going to leave the Premier League for this new league. How would you feel as a Tottenham fan? Tottenham leaving the Premier League and going to this new league. Would you A, be happy, B, be pissed off, or C, I'm never going to support them again?
I think I'd probably never support them again and stuff like that, and end up having to find a new club because with it, like, let's be honest, if this happened, would the English FA even allow Tottenham to stay in the country as a club? Would they allow the stadium to still be there and kept being used for football matches and stuff like that? Would they allow that?
I think they would. They wouldn't have any jurisdiction on. I don't think you would have any jurisdiction where Tottenham play, but I think they would. But sort of Boris makes a good point, Brad, about the FA and the Premier League. Did they have to nip this in the bud now? Really nip it in the bud?
Haven't the Premier League changed their rules now to say that if you join any other league, then you're just banned from the Premier League?
Yeah,
because at the moment,
could you see Tottenham going into this again? I mean, you and me are older fans. Like, we've seen it all. We've seen the good, the bad, and the damn well ugly. We know what happened in 2021 or 22 with the Super League and all the protests. And to be fair, we didn't send out the biggest protests. To be fair, I mean, I was watching Sky Sports. I always remember it. Pouring rain, 4 men jumping around with the shoes in the hair, can of beer in one hand, the shoe in the air in the other, and a Tottenham bag like they bought a load of stuff at the club shop, right? And they're all dancing around like a circle, like. And I'm thinking, are they doing the rain dance or are they doing the protest? And you look at Chelsea, look how many thousands turned up at Chelsea. Look how many thousands turned up at Liverpool. You look at Man United got a game abandoned because of it.
Yeah, they did actually. Yeah,
Daniel Levy's never really apologized for taking.
Well, I don't think he's a sort of. Yeah, Daniel Levy's got a massive ego, so I don't think he's going to apologize. Yeah. But I'm sure he would have seen the reaction. I honestly don't believe he thought it would get the reaction it did, and I think a lot of the owners of the clubs didn't think that. Certainly in this country. So I think any Super League will have to be played along with the actual Premier League, and we're sort of heading that way anyway. Look at the new format. Yeah. Look at the new format for the Champions League and the Europa League. Yeah, it's a league table. You know,
was that because of the Super League that UEFA come up with that idea?
Probably, because it's. I mean, let's face it. You know, a Super League is another bunch of people trying to make money, and if they make money, then the UEFA don't make money. So, hey, let's jump on the coattails of that. And we've actually seen this. We've actually seen this happen in cricket. many years ago with Kerry Packer.
Oh,
Kerry
yeah.
Packer, yeah,
I
Kerry
forgot all
Packer
about
had
that.
had this, and everyone at the time thought this is rubbish, hate it. Ugh.
Yeah.
And he held the first cricket game at an Australian rules football stadium. Hardly anyone there. It was a total flop. And then suddenly it started to get a bit of momentum. Suddenly the games got better. I mean, it started, it was ridiculous, wearing crash helmets and all having these different colours and that. But it suddenly started to get momentum, and it suddenly became incredibly popular. And the Australian Cricket Board basically came and said, "Well, we'll have it now. You know, we'll let you in. We'll take it over, and we'll do it." And now we see what happens with one-day cricket now. That's really down. Much as I don't particularly like him as a person, that's really down to one person, Kerry Packer.
It's down to what the Indian Super League's same thing, isn't it?
Exactly. Everyone, and you got the Big Bash in Australia and the T20 over here. It's all led to that. And I think what UEFA will do, and I think that you're right, they're doing it now, but by having these two league tables, you know, how long before those 24 teams, is it 24 teams or 30? How long before they become 12 teams? How long before they become, you know, a couple of divisions with promotion and relegation? But it will still be played in the midweek and still fulfilling your Premier League.
You're talking about a bit like the Nations League.
Yeah, exactly. The Nations League was brought in, one, obviously to make money, but two, because to do away, well, they said to do away with
friendlies, wasn't it?
But it didn't really. We still played a bloody friendly.
Yeah,
so,
we do, yeah.
So, yeah.
But look, if you're looking at Tottenham, right, and Daniel Levy, he's sitting in the office there, guys, right, and he's thinking, over here, I can make, say, 100 million. Over here, I can make 3.5 billion. Now, let me see here. Do I stay in this league and make 100 and something million a season, or do I go over here and make 300 billion a season? More money for me, less money for the football club, and I become even richer, and the football club becomes even poorer. Or I stay over here, I don't become as rich, but the football club still becomes poorer. Whichever way you look at it, Daniel Levy's going to win. Because he's going to get what he wants.
Yeah, he's going to, whatever's making the money. I mean, that's why he got involved in the first place. You know, and I think I think also the fact was he probably thought. I mean, to be fair, we didn't really deserve to be in the Super League at that particular time, and he probably thought, oh wow, yeah, we'll have some of that. You know, let's take it now while we can.
Can I just say my first thought, Brad and Boris, when I saw that, when Tottenham were linked to it, I went, are you having a laugh? Seriously?
It's like, why?
Are you serious? You're classing us as a top 6 club. We're playing shit in the league. We're out of all the competitions, and you think we're going to get to Super? And I thought, maybe
they probably
felt
did
sorry for us.
If anything.
Yeah, and I remember that day Gary Neville saying, remember they were quite vocal about it. And I remember within a 24-hour period, it just collapsed. Yeah. But Daniel Levy, the Liverpool owners come out and apologised. The Manchester United owners come out and apologised. Kroenke come out and apologised. Daniel Levy's never come out and apologised for sending us into the Super League. He may have done it by letter, but he's never done it by publicly. And what I don't like about Daniel Levy, as much as I'm not a Levy out, I'm not Levy in, I will praise him when he does good. I will criticize him when he does bad. I just feel he is very bad for Tottenham now. He needs to move on. He's taken us as far as he can take us. Let's give it to the next person to take us to the next level.
This is the issue, isn't it? Because we've got to a situation where, certainly under Pochettino, where we're at a level where we just needed that little bit of a push, and suddenly we're at the next level. But Levy doesn't seem to want to do that. No. So I agree. Yeah, we need to try something different, but it's not out there at the moment. That's the problem. There are no alternatives. You know, we're going to have to. It just, you know, it's not going to happen. I don't think at the moment. No. One, because it's going to take an awful lot of money to buy Tottenham from him. You know,
well. At the moment, what I'm hearing is that Amanda Staveley is part of our brokering a deal. Now, there's 3 or 4 different people in it at the moment. The talks are still ongoing. Tottenham could be partially bought out or fully bought over. We don't know yet. we have to wait and see. I can't say a lot because of NDAs and because of NDAs. And if I say what I do know, I will get into trouble. My source will get into trouble. So I know there is a lot of stuff happening behind the background. I know.
Yeah,
Just to very quickly, Brad, to put this into the melting pot. I do know that the people that own Joan Lewis's shares are willing to sell. That I do know. So whoever buys Tottenham will have the majority. Daniel Levy's only, people seem to forget this. Daniel Levy's only a minority shareholder. He's not. He doesn't own Tottenham. It's Joe Lewis that owns Tottenham. He's the majority shareholder, not Daniel Levy.
Probably his kids now, actually, to be fair. But
yeah.
I mean, the other thing I think, whatever you think of Daniel Levy, I actually do believe he's quite invested in the area because he's set up a lot of things in that area. The places for people, young people to get work and that sort of thing, and the redevelopment of the train station. Although, why hasn't he got toilets? New White Hart Lane station, okay? All that money they've spent with no toilets. So yeah, I think he's very invested in the area. So it's going to take an awful lot to get him out of that, And you think that any investment we get in that might come in, I think he's going to want to have a say and want to have to be there in some capacity. So yeah, as I say, I don't think he's going anywhere. I'll be incredibly surprised if he sells up and we don't hear any more of him whatsoever. So
I think a lot of people would be glad if he just did that.
I'm sure they would. And you would be excited if new owners came in and said, "We're going to spend all this money on the club." Of course, you'd be excited, So, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anyway, Christopher Inshaw says if Tottenham left, the fans should make a satellite team. Yeah, I think so. I think they should call it Tottenham Till I Die FC. We'll have Brad as manager. We'll have Boris as chief scout. We'll have me as technical director. We'll have Colin as goalkeeper and coach.
You know what, Dermot? You better register that name somewhere because the situation they had in Australia when the a little place called Fremantle decided they're going to go in the AFL, and obviously in Australia they've all got the Perth this or the Adelaide that, and they wanted to name, and they thought, you know what, Fremantle's well known for its docks, so we're going to call them the Fremantle Dockers. And what some really clever person had done, he basically thought, I know what they're going to call them, and he'd registered that name, and they had to pay him loads of money to get that name to be able to use it. So,
we're going down that route with this name. Believe me, we are going down that route. Big up to Matthew. Also said he's now gone for Roosevelt as his picture. Fair play to him. Matthew, Lancashire has the potential to become the next Kane the way he's built. Yeah, I would agree with that. Chris D, big up to Chris. He says, I think we need to go for Kyogo. I would, from Celtic. Ready-made striker who scores plenty of goals would be ideal for us, and a backup striker. Yeah, knows the Ange system very well indeed. Who else we've got coming in? Big up to John Fitzpatrick, my Irish brother. Hope you're doing well in Limerick. Merry Christmas, John, to you and the family. Goes Ange out. Tequila, big up to Tequila 316, the man, the mystery.
Hello.
Yeah, the James Bond of the channel, who comes in, swabbers in with his shaken Matani, not Matani, what do you call it? Vodka and what's the name of the drink? It starts with them. Matani. Anyway,
mojito.
No,
margarita.
No, it's I'll forget it anyway. Matani, I can't mention. I can't say it anyway. One of the worst managers Spurs have had in a while. Sorry to say that.
I still honestly think the jury's out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But big up to Zermo and Brad and Boris as well. Big up. He's saying, John says if we stick with Ange, we'll end up in a relegation battle. It's embarrassing. Tequila goes, I'm very drunk and medded up, so everything I'm going to say is 100% accurate. Yeah, of course it is, man. Feel bad for Domo because he's such an Ange fan. Ange let him down, man. Ange has not let me down yet, man. He doesn't. He sends me happy to sleep every night looking at Ange Waddle. Never hero worship anyone, just let you down. Well, I hero worship my dad.
Yeah, never meet your heroes.
No, I Mary worship my dad, and he never let me down once. So
Fair
nobody
play,
ever
fair
lets me
play,
down.
fair play to it. Spot on.
Once met Johnny Sins.
Don't say that. Skip to the next one.
Why?
You can look up the name after.
All right, okay. I think I get the gist of it, but yeah.
I'd say put an incognito tab on.
Yeah, I think it might be. Google it on the on.
I am just doing it now.
In guest mode.
No, I've just got him. He's an American. Or am I looking at the different?
Let's just say it's in 18 plus stuff.
Just put it into the private chat. Big up Dermot and panel. Big up Mr. Fitzpatrick. Big up Boris too, hiding in the corner. Big up Jerry Beck.
There we go. It's in the private now. Just
Merry Christmas, Dermot. All big up, and then the kid is just
that's what I thought, Boris. That's what I thought. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I get you now.
That's why I didn't want you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The killer's
I have to say I've never heard of him.
Neither have I. I'm just very weird that the killer's heard of him. So
to be fair, I mainly know the female one. So
yeah, I do too. Actually, to be fair, Brad, if I'm being honest. Each to their own, I suppose. Big up Tequila. He's just fallen off his chair laughing. He's rolling around the room laughing in giggles. Look, guys, we are going to end it off here very soon. I was going to talk about that, but we'll leave that to the transfer window. I want you guys. Big up to everyone in the chat. Merry Christmas to everyone. Favorite game of 2024.
Oh, Jesus.
Or the best Tottenham. Doesn't have to be a game, it has to be a Tottenham moment from 2024. Boris, where are you going with that?
Probably go the 4-1 against Villa at the start of the season.
Bad. Yeah. Brad?
I certainly for games I've been to. I mean, we can't forget. I mean, I don't think, and this year includes last season. I don't think there's a lot in 2024. Last season, certainly the 4-0 win at the Etihad was like wow, like a wow moment, and probably the best performance under Ange Postecoglou. But no, I agree with Boris that 4-1 win against Villa. We all don't like Chelsea and West Ham and Arsenal, but I have a particular bad taste for Villa for some reason. And they always seem to win at our ground. So at 3-1, Maddison had that direct free kick. And I said to the person on my left, I said, I really hope he scores because I just want to see the Villa fans leaving. And that's what exactly happened. And I got so much joy out of seeing them all leaving because they're quite mouthy, Villa fans.
Yeah. I got two. I've got the Brighton game I went to last season when we won 2-1. And I was sitting next to Ollie, and we were 1-0 down. And they were Tottenham were facing us in the first half, right? But they were facing the side stand. And I remember when I think it was Van der Ven scored, me and Ollie just hugging, jumping up and down, jumping like when we got the winner, like in the last minute. And I think the other one for me, I think I can use this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's 2023. Probably is 2023, but I'm going back to 2024, I think was, and I got to say, all my watch-alongs were Philip Brady. I think they've all been enjoyable.
Oh, nice.
Philip, of course, no longer is taking retirement off the channel. But yeah, there's been some funny watch-alongs with him. Watching it when I watching with Philip Brady, right, is so funny because Philip will come out of nowhere. I've got a feeling in my stomach, Dermot. And you know full well what he's going. And sometimes he's ahead of me and he says, wait for it. Just watch this now. It's like he gives me a heart attack, like doing the watch along with him. Like, and next thing we're conceding or scoring. So I think the Brighton game for me, the watch alongs with Mr. Brady when we have done them. And then also I think it's got to be the 4-0 win against Man City. I think that's got to be the best day ever. Let's see what people say in the chat. Big up to Gary. Beck says, "Damn, what did you make of Jonathan Liu's view on Spurs, in particular his attack on that?" I haven't seen it. Maybe somebody can send me that article.
Yeah,
I'll have a read of that.
He's quite a decent journalist, actually, Jonathan Liu.
Yeah. If you can send me that, Brad, if you can send me the link to that article, or Gary, if you can, I would love to read that. I will look out for that. Tequila's gone, beaten United at Old Trafford. Just remembered so many losses there. We won for once.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
John says, for me, going to the new stadium for the first time, what a sight. It's only happened.
If
only we had a team to play in it.
So true. I mean, look, Dermot, I can't remember what games we've met at the games, but that when we have a good win, and normally if when we beat Arsenal and beat West Ham, it's amazing after the game. Everyone's going. I always
Brighton game we met at, and when we beat Brighton. And the atmosphere after the Brighton game with the music and the people, I remember videoing it, right? I don't know if I put it up in the channel. I'm sure I did. And it was like, it's just brilliant.
And I always say to my mate Steve, can you imagine what we'd be like if we actually won something? And it's like that. So
I said to Boris, I think the other day, I would love to play. I would love if the UEFA Cup final was two-legged again, and we could play the final at White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it? Boris, for you, best channel. Look, I know you and me have worked on the channel a lot, but best channel moment for you this year in 2024 on THFC Till I Die. I think Boris has gone to sleep. Anyway,
honestly, that is a tough one. I had my mic on me. I honestly forgot.
Yeah,
but
I just want to thank you, Boris. I want to thank Colin. I want to thank Tequila. I want to thank Philip Brady and Carl as well for all the help you've given me this year. I couldn't do this channel without you guys. You put a lot of effort in the background with me. I want to thank Brad. Brad's come on more than once. We are going to get Brad on more. I'm going to twist his arm to get him on a weekly podcast with me. Come on, Brad. You know you can do it.
I just get to a situation where I say my bit, and it's like I don't want to repeat myself.
Well, this podcast is where you can be yourself. It is cool. It is the unholy trinity, but we do need. So we'll either get you or Boris. We do need an Englishman on it, and we're going to have two Irishmen and an Englishman.
Sounds like a joke, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. We're running it with me, Dave, and Philip Brady, but we are going to reintroduce the podcast in the new year. So we are going to get Kate's going to do a few shows for us as well. We're going to get her to come on as well. But yeah, I want to thank all of you guys. We will be back on St. Stephen's Day, but I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a lovely time with your family. I hope you have a fantastic day.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
And I just want to thank you guys because you've rarely made my dreams come true by reaching 2K. And I can't thank you all enough. But we are now on the march for 3K. We are going to get there. But Merry Christmas to everyone. Tequila, you know I am, man. If you need me, if you need to talk or anything, send us a text. I'm there for you, buddy. And we can't wait to have you back because we miss you, Tequila. Don't we, Boris? We miss Tequila.
Can I just make a plug, really? Please, everyone, go to Blue Sofa Songs and check out.
I was going to get you to plug your channel.
Oh, good. I got in there early. I thought,
get there early. Get there early. Hang your horses. Brad, thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on. Thank you. It's great having you on again. Where can people find you, Brad?
Oh, thank you, Dermot. If you go to YouTube and find Blue Sofa Songs, that's blue as in the colour, sofa as in what I'm sitting on, songs as in songs. It's 3 words. Check out my Christmas song. It's called Happy Rocking or Rocking Christmas. It's heading for 400 views, which at the moment is the most viewed song I've had on YouTube. To give you an idea, if I hit 100, I'm normally quite happy. This one's currently on about 372 in the space of probably just under 2 weeks. So I'm really, really pleased with it. It's a good song, even though I say myself. It's a bit of fun. So please go and check it out. And whilst you're in there, check out any of the other songs that might take your interest. But thank you, Dermot, allow me to do that.
No, please do. Brad does make an absolute great song. He is very good. I've been on to him for months and months and months to do something with an intro bit for me. I'm still going to hold you to that, Mr. Brad. I'm still going to hold you to that. Boris, thank you again for coming on. Thank you for all the work you do. Send me them emails. You're asking, send them to me, but put them into an MP4 thing if you can. Where can people find you, sir?
You can either find me on here, because this is where I used to be, or on Twitter at Boris Despairs with capital B. You'll be able to find me on there.
Well, look, there is Brad link in there, guys. So do hit and these. What subs you're on at the moment, Brad?
227. I've picked up 10 in the last week because I've been sort of trying to hoik it around a bit, but actually got shown at my workplace. We had like a Christmas lunch, and my manager's manager kindly put it on the big video screen and got everyone to subscribe. So it's done well. I'm very pleased with it.
Yeah, well, Brad, you're always part of this channel here. You have been from the start. You were here in the TTG Tottenham Tantrum Goal days.
Oh,
you're
God,
here
yeah,
in Tottenham
Jesus,
Goals.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, you've been here since the start. It's had a few changes, but look, we are sticking who we are. But listen, thank you. Christopher Inshaw's just subbed as well. Big up to Christopher. Good man yourself.
Yes.
Please do follow the man, Stig Jr., the man who we never know what he looks like. He could be Doctor Who for all we know. Please do like him and to follow him wherever he is. Do hit and like the subscription here, guys. If you're a member, you're entered to the 2K giveaway, where on the 1st of January, we are going to do the draw for the Port Gascoigne 1991 shirt. So, Brad, pick up your membership, get entered in that draw. See, if you can do it, I can do it. So there you go. On that bombshell. But listen, thank you all for watching. We are here in St. Stephen's Day. There's a couple of shows tomorrow, guys. We've got my predicted lineup coming out tomorrow. We've also got the pre-game thoughts as well, all the information you need to know about the Forest game, where you can watch it, history of Forest games in the Premier League. We do have Boris's also player watches coming out as well. Neil Shafton is saying, how come I can't get on? Well, you do. Just let us know. We are going to do a members show on the 30th. So all members get to come on. So on the 30th, you get to come on and have your say. Do send us an email, Neil, and we will get you on. I want to get Wayne on as well. So Wayne and Neil, send your email addresses to the email. It is in the on the channel description. So please do that, and we'll get you on, guys. All I've got to say, thank you very much for everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Well, not Happy New Year, but Merry Christmas. Have a blast, and whatever you're doing, come on, you Spurs. Big Ange we trust. We never stop. We are going for the treble. Come
Celebrate
on,
everything.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, you Spurs.